How do you learn who you really are? It's not found in books. It's found on the battlefield. What's up, brothers? Welcome back to the Brotherhood of the Mind. I'm here with my coaches today, the leaders in the Warriors Way. And so we're going to go through the guys here. We've got Ryan, codename Forge. We've got Dr. Phil, Chris the Mechanic. We've got Perry, the Strongman. We've got Druss, the Prodigy. And we got Big Papa Nick over here. And we're going to be going through like some of the stuff of the Brotherhood, why the Brotherhood, what are parts of what we do in the Warriors Way. And so that way our guys who are out there going like, why would I ever want to be in this? What is this thing all about? You can start hearing from the guys who you'd be working with, like some of the things that we've gone through, what are the benefits to that, and why you'd want to be a part of what we do in the Warriors Way. So let's go ahead and jump into it. And guys, say hey, but then whoever wants to go first, let's start off with something very, very simple. Like, what is one of your favorite things in the Warriors Way mindset that we do? Who wants to start off? Forge, you want to start us off?
Sure, I'll start it off. Man, one of my favorite things is the Brotherhood here. We all are connected at some level. We all have our stories, and everybody's cool with it. There's no blame, there's no shame, there's no judgment. We all listen to each other, different stories from different places. We get to pick each other up out of our own hell. I don't know how many times everybody in here, at least at one time, has pulled me up. I've been down in the dumps, and I can call one of these guys right here and tell them my story, tell them what's happening, and within half hour, tops, I'm lifted back up because these guys have shown me the way, and it's awesome. There's no other place like this. You really you can't get this anywhere. I mean, I've been in the military for 17 years. That's probably the closest that I've come. But even in the military, you can't talk like we do here in the military. It's just a different persona there. It's, you can't say, I'm sad or hey, Sergeant, I'm feeling down today. They're going to be like, get the fuck up and go do some push-ups or something. You know what I mean? Go, whatever. Here, it's like, I feel you, brother. Let's go. The light is this way. Walk this way. I got you. That's my favorite part of this whole place.
Hey, yeah, dude, we've come out of the fucking darkness together. That's for sure. That's awesome, man. I'm going to pass it on to the Prodigy. All right. So Druss is one of our head coaches. Druss, what is one of your favorite parts? We've gone through some hell together, and we've gone through a lot of battles with men together. What's one of your favorite parts of this journey that you've had for the Warriors Way?
It's hard to say what my favorite part is. I was listening to Ryan trying to pick it. Number one, first and foremost, would be Phil's flipper. I think that's just my top. That's number one for sure. No, it's the ability to talk about anything, and it's the ability to go from bullshit to deep philosophy to really intense internal emotions, and have a bunch of guys just not even flinch. Like, I'm sure we've all been in a situation where we're trying to connect with someone, we're trying to tell them something. This goes for a lot of people that are around us in real life. We're like, man, this really fucking tore me apart. And they just kind of glaze over it, or they'll just divert the topic. They just can't really go into it. But here, if you're going through anything from, I'm getting angry at a certain thing, I'm having a protection system trigger, we don't really call it trauma, but let's say going back into childhood shit, going back into those protection systems, going back into those traumas, nobody fucking flinches. You can go into some warrior shit and tackle it, or you can cry in front of you guys and no one cares. That's the best bit, where it's no matter what happens, people just accept your authenticity.
Yeah, dude, it's very, very cool too, man. It's cool the stuff that we can see where, like, especially we'll get into some creed stuff. And I think that one thing that seems to be universal is the first rule for the Warriors Way is that we have to trust, which means we don't betray each other. But the second one, like both of you guys have brought up, that's a big one, is no blame, no shame, no judgment. And like, whether it is you want to come in here, talk about fishing, trucks, your girl, whatever, what are you working on? What are you trying to improve? Or what do you like? Fine, that's one thing. But if you got to go into some deep internal stuff, no one's going to put you down for it, because we all have our journeys, man. So I think that's very, very cool. And like, I've seen Druss slay some demons, man. We've gone in and broken curses with people and done some tough things. So I like like if you guys get to meet any of these guys, you're super blessed. All right, let's go to the next thing. How about this? I want to get into what is a phalanx call? Like if someone was like, hey, I got an invite for Saturday. Somebody said I can bring a brother to a phalanx. Anybody want to say, what is a phalanx? What the heck? I've never heard that word. What is a phalanx? Who wants to take that one? What do you think? Chris, you want to tell them what a phalanx is?
Yeah, for me, a phalanx, I mean, the term itself goes back to this 300 Spartans. We lock shields with each other to go ahead and go into battle. The best way that I can explain it in modern day terms is brothers pulling brothers out of the fire. It's a training session that we go through essentially each day, each morning. You're able to get a bunch of different perspectives from all of these guys. So you've got, hundreds, if not thousands of years of experience, depending on how many people are on that call, of just generally being a guy and how to better ourselves, how to improve ourselves, whatever it is that we might be stuck on at any certain point in time. There's, so much different experience, so many different point of views that can help us realize things from a different angle and really be able to work through it. But the best part, I feel like, is you don't get the answer told to you. You get told how to find the answer for yourself and how to actually apply it. And you basically report back at that point and kind of see how things go from there.
Yeah, I like that. Nobody's giving the unsolicited advice. We're all just training so that we can get stronger in our own warrior type. And one thing that's different when the Warriors Way is it's not like a 1 week, 1 day a week call. Like we get together every day. And this is a support system that's way stronger. And that's just the morning calls. That's where we get together early in the day and we face the day together, which is pretty damn badass. And like, man, we have had people go into hardcore battles just in the daily calls. That's not even mission training, but we've gone through and killed some pretty tough stuff, broken curses, and went through some tough things. Now we have the other part of this too. What's the nighttime deal? Which we've got the fellowship. And Phil, if you can, Phil started the fellowship. And so I got to give Phil a lot of credit. And this is simply because the short version of the story is, like, since Phil started the nighttime groups, we've got Chris doing that. You'll see Nick in the nighttime groups. Druss is oftentimes going to hang out in the nighttime groups also because of time zones. We're able to not only go into battle if needed, but it's really important when it comes to today's world where the men are isolated. Guys are just alone, and they think you have to go into battles all alone. But what's really going on is that together we're always stronger. So Phil was like, I want to make a hangout group. We don't always have to go into training. We don't have to go into battle. And so Phil, tell us a little bit of like your experience on when you created a group just to be able to hang out. Tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, it was when I was already part of the Warriors Way program, and the phalanxes were really helping me like level up and work on stuff outside of the regular course. So it was like going to a martial arts class every day with 30 people and then get a smaller group training once a week. And then all of a sudden I'm like, well, there's some balance to this. Like martial arts is meditation. We got to hang out too. Otherwise we're all going to go nuts. So I thought we should have a group. We get all this kind of like bullshit about, I don't know, whatever the hell we want about cars stuff. If something comes up, fine, call, that takes priority, like triage first, patch till the next day. But otherwise, we just try to hang out, even with the coaches, everybody on down this, talk about whatever's going on, stuff they can't vent about their wives, or stuff about their jobs, or where they want to go, vacations, whatever. Just anything, really. Evolve from there. And I don't know, it seems to have helped out a lot. How many months has it been now, Rick?
We're coming up on almost a year. There's 10 months at this point. Yeah, we're coming up on a long time that you've been running this. But here's the big testament to that is like since Phil started this group, when it came to suicide calls, I'd have a few calls, like at least a one a week or once every a couple of weeks, there'd be a suicide call. A guy who's had his limit, he's at the end, And he's like, I don't see the point anymore, and I'm fucking done. And I would have to take these calls. Well, since Phil started this group, we haven't had any of those calls because now you belong somewhere. Now you have purpose somewhere. Now you are valued. Now that you are not alone and isolated, and you can just be a part of where people can just say, hey, you're part of our pack. And since we've created that, any guy who shows up has been like, man, we worked out some stuff, and I feel like my guys really care about me. There is a point, in the rhetorical doubt question of what's the point? Well, now you have one. You're part of a pack. You're part of a brotherhood, and we like it when you're here. And Phil, you created that, and we've got our coaches that are up and coming right now, which I'm sure by the time people are listening to this thing, you're going to have head coaches already. But Chris and Nick are working through there, and we've got them growing and working with more and more men. And these guys pull guys out of the fire in the middle of the night. Middle of the night. When you're sitting there and you're looking at the bottle, or you're wondering if I'm going to face this demon, you can hang out with the boys and go, don't do that. Hang with us. You belong here, and you don't have to numb that shit. Like it's been very, very powerful for accountability, for growth, and for purpose. And so, the fellowship at night, and we do those how often? Phil, how often do we have those? Once a week?
Right now, about 2 to 3 times a week. 3 times a week, as long as we coaches don't have anything going on in our personal lives. But once in a while, we go to 2. Sometimes, so it's either Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and they usually go pretty long. They start about 9 o'clock, and sometimes they go real late. Sometimes they go an hour or two, depending. Like one time, we had guys cooking at like 11 at night or 12. It was real late. So, man.
Hey, as long as you want to hang out, people will hang out with you, which is very cool, man. Yeah. And it's also semi-random too, because I see sometimes you guys will throw up a few days more than that a week. Never know. And that's kind of the benefit is there's just so much support. You don't know how much is going to be there, but it's not just like one day a week. It could be 3, 4, 5 days. Now with phalanx is every morning, fellowship every single night. Then we got to go into the units. And this is when we're really doing the training with a crew, when you're really training. And when we're working with a unit, you've got guys who you not only are with the coaches that are going hardcore in on skills every week, but also you're training with other guys who are training with you. You guys are in the trenches together. And so Big Pops, Nick, tell us about what was your experience being able to not only go through that, but even also helping guys through going through a unit. What's your opinion on just unit training?
Yeah. Start with the story as it is. I was in a bad spot. Had a lot of things going on in my life culminating at once. Same old story, right? What are men supposed to do? Bottle everything up and just pin it down and head down, move forward, was scrolling through TikTok, saw Rick's beautiful beard staring me in the face, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to call. And did it, got put into a group with some of the coaches in here, went through the group with some of the coaches in here, and just growing as a man and understanding that my emotions and the things that I feel and the way I feel shouldn't just be put aside or put down. It was an enlightening experience because Druss and Ryan and Chris and Phil and Rick, they all touched on this already, but I mean there's a horse every different color in here. You know what I mean? You're never by yourself. You know what I mean? There's always going to be someone that can relate to your exact story, right? There's always going to be somebody that's going to be like, brother, I've been there, right? I'm former military myself. I'm a veteran, and I know if I'm having a bad way, I know, hey, I could reach out to Ryan and he knows exactly what I'm talking about. We're speaking the same language. We're talking the same stuff. Dads, there's single dads in here. There's stepdads in here. There's fathers that have adopted children, from previous marriages. And you can get anything you can think of. There's somebody in here that's going to cover it and it's willing to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and go to war with you for it. I've never once been turned down asking for help. I've never once been, oh, hey man, maybe tomorrow. It's always been right there. It's always, every time you needed somebody, it's always been right there. So to say that I've grown as a man and now being afforded the opportunity to move into coaching and help going further and helping pull men out of the fire and out of the flames, it's the growth never stops. You grow more every day, and every day you come here, you grow a little further, you learn a little more, you get a little better, and every day we're putting men back on the top of the food chain, and that's what we're here to do.
Yeah, this is one thing I want to do as a testament to all of what we do. And there's a lot of things out there that are just information. Watch my videos, check out the program for this, check out that thing. And one thing that's different with us is every single week is a new skill. And we train together. And so we're doing transformation, not information. This means each week we go through your stuff. You're on a mission every single week. And some of these are going to be like, you watch some guys go like, oh yeah, I got that one pretty easy. And it bulldozes you. And then other weeks you get that one easy and it, bulldozes another guy. So who wants to jump in and talk about like, man, when we're on highs and when we're on lows, and what does it look like in the Warriors way? Do we shame each other? Like, dude, quit being a bitch. Or are we telling each other like, man, stop being a sissy about it, dude. Just fucking do it. Like, what happens when you get knocked down in the Warriors way? Anybody?
I could touch on that as well, Rick.
Hit it.
Some of the biggest issues that I had were identifying a lot of the problems that I had with myself, right? So I've never been one to be like, oh, well, this is my problem, so I'm going to fix it. I'm a fixer. I fix everybody else's stuff first, right? I put everybody else first. I had a huge couple steps back, let's say, in doing personal inventory. And I mean, I got leveled. And my brothers were, instead of being like, oh man, like, are you caught up yet? Or hey, some of the guys that were moving through it, like everybody's like, all right, we're only as strong as our weakest link in this. We're getting through it together. We're crossing the finish line together. So everybody, balled up around and said, hey man, what resources can we give you? What can we do here? What can we talk about here? What can we bring up? And, what are some of the things you're having trouble talking about? And I found the people that I could talk to about certain things, and I found the people that I could talk to about other things, like Phil. Phil speaks to my dark side. Me and him could have a conversation about that all day, And Druss speaks to my heart side, and I could talk to him about the heart side of things in and out. And we'll often joke with one another as men do, right? We'll get a rise, we'll poke and prod here and there, but every man here offers you 100% respect, love, and trust. You are in the safest spot that you could ever be in. You could shed your armor, you could pull it all off, and they're here. Everyone's here to help. And there's not one person here that's going to take advantage of you or your feelings or your emotions in the purest, rawest form. Everybody is here to lift you up and build better men.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we are. That's awesome. Druss, what's your take on the highs and lows?
Yeah, I'll jump in on that one as well. One of my favorite quotes in the program is the smartest man in the room is the one with the most perspectives. And what happens a lot of the time is that if you're down or you're struggling with a week, some of the guys have gone through that battle within their life already. So they'll give you their different perspectives. They'll say, this is what worked for me. And a big thing about the program here isn't we're not telling you how to live. It's not, hey, you should do this thing. This is how you should be. It's, this is what's worked for me. Here's a different way. Here's 10 different ways. Go find out what works for you. Go find out what's authentic to you. We ask you the questions to reveal you to yourself. So it's not about, yeah, you do this, then do this, then do this. We give you tasks. There is action, but it's who's inside there really. And it's not what society has told you, or it's not what fucking TikTok is trying to tell you to be. It's not what Instagram is trying to tell you to be. So what happens when you get bulldozed? You got 10, 20, 30 different dudes going, hey, this is what worked for me. What's going to work for you? Because we all want to find out. We're in your corner. Let's go.
And what's cool is once you figure your style or your way out by seeing which guy's thing works best for you, then it's your turn when you see the next guy down and you go, here's my point of view. And now you can pull the next generation up. It's very, very cool to see. Very cool to see. That's awesome, Druss. Who else has got something to share with their highs and lows? Who else wants to go, man, I got bulldozed on this one, but no one lets me fall. Anybody have something they want to be like, oh, bro, mechanic?
Yeah, I know. I definitely do on this one. Like whenever I first started coming to this group, I felt like I felt like I didn't really have much confidence in myself. I was always second guessing everything that I was doing, just kind of living from day to day, hoping that things would be better without really putting it forth any effort to do so. Going through the course, a lot of that actually changed. Got some confidence back, got some awareness back, and able to really see through, a lot of the things that I was doing to myself just to keep myself in the same spot without even realizing it. And so made a lot of progress there, but there's definitely been times where, I've been slammed out of left field as far as, being let go from a job that just kind of came right out of the blue, or, different relationship issues and such like that, going from being in a relationship to not being in one, and then back in the same relationship a few days later, just, getting smacked around from time to time. And the thing that I love the most about it, and what's really helped more than anything, is, something like that gets brought up during the phalanx or during the fellowship. For the next week, I'll randomly get calls or text messages from multiple different people, just checking in. Hey, you doing okay? Anything you need to go over? Anything like that? Like, there isn't any, we're going to wait for you to come back and make sure you're fine. Like, you legitimately have people here that will care about you and reach out to make sure that that you're not keeping things to yourself, that you're not trying to, put on a facade in these groups. They legitimately want the best for you and will reach out and do everything they possibly can to help you get there.
Man, that's such a good point. Such a good point that nobody here is trying to tell you who you need to be, and they'll be with you no matter what it is. That's a good point. And you're right, man. Leave it to any of the guys in here. Like, we'll all check on each other, and like, it may be a week, 2 weeks, a couple days, whatever. If you're going through it though, guys, check on each other. This is not even a part of like, hey, Rick said to check in. Each guy here genuinely cares about each other. We all look out for each other, especially the guys in your unit. You'll find camaraderie of guys you go into hell with and you break curses with. Here's one thing I got for you guys. I know just jumping back in a second. I got something for you guys. Here's an obvious question whenever anybody hears about any type of group, right? Is this a religious group? Is this you have to be this religion? You have to be this religion or that religion. So is this like one of those ones where like, hey, listen, if you're not doing the Bible, you can't be in this group, or hey, you got to do it my way, or you can't be in this group? Is the system that we have for that, is that a part of this?
No.
I'll answer that one for you. Not at all, man. That's one of the things that I think is the most fun about this is, yeah, there are aspects of it that do kind of fall towards religion. And there are a lot of people in this group that do have a religious backing through multiple different, different faiths and such. But the best part is none of us look at one another as less or more or anything like that with any kind of different perspective because of that. Most of the time, we've got some really rabbit hole 10 discussions that will go down based on it, like hour and a half, 2-3 hour long. And there's some of the best conversations that we have between any of us. It all helps us build better and obtain different perspectives on anything that we've got going on.
To touch on that, Chris, I think that's one of the best dynamics of this group in general, is that you could have, I've had a conversation so in depth about the Bible with one person, and then the complete opposite end of the spectrum on the other. And I'm like, both sides bring valid points. Why can't we figure this out? You know what I mean? And then it spurs another conversation, and the ends of the spectrum are endless. That's why I said a horse of every different color, because there's something for everyone in this group. You will find someone in here that is in some way, shape, or form into the same things that you are, or going through the same stuff that you're going through. And they're probably going to already have some tools that they'll let you borrow to get through it.
And speaking of that, man, the tools to get through stuff. Like I'm a heart side guy, like, and then I go to body and then mind. That spirit side, I'm lost in the sauce when it comes to that. Like, and I've talked to so many different people of like, hey, well, try the Bible, try Buddha, try, you name it. It's been thrown my way. And that's like everybody's saying here, it's like, that's the cool part where it's like, everybody has their own little way of going down the spirit side. And, just like I'm currently on the journey to find where I fit in on that. Is it pagan? Is it Catholic? Is it, whatever? I don't know. Maybe it's not a religion at all. Maybe it's just, an energy thing. Like nothing here is tied to any one thing or another. It's like, that's the cool part, is everybody has the complete and utter freedom to believe what you want. And that's what makes it fucking special, because it's not like there's no rules to that. It's great.
Yeah, we also have guys in here who are pastors who read the Dead Sea Scrolls. Like, we've got guys who are philosophers and have read thousands of books. Like, we've got guys from all wakes and saying, where I am in my journey. I am Christian. I go God's side. But I don't require that of anybody, because I don't judge people's journey just because I follow Jesus. And he says, don't judge people's journey. They got to figure it out. And if they go energy, if they go law of attraction, if they go meditation, if they go Taoism, listen, it's not my place to judge. My job is just to support you through life on what it is we have to battle. So it's an honor, no matter what your belief system are for faith, as long as you're still working on your soul and spirit side to be the best man you can be. It's not my place to judge you. Like, you got to go through your journey, and judging journeys is just a spiral of failure for all of us. Doesn't make any sense. So, like, this is one thing, that this is a religious group. It's like a cult, man. Not because of religion. Let's just say it that way. We have each other's back, but it isn't because we have to have a deity that we force each other into things.
I'll throw in just to follow up on that as well. I think I remember one of the very first things I asked you whenever I talked to you on the phone was, is this another one of those stupid ass book clubs that's all over the place online? And you're like, no, we don't read books in this group whatsoever. And that was a big relief, because been in those groups before. Definitely not something like that. Like, this actually has a ton of value compared to anything else I've seen online anywhere.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Warrior, thank you so much for being a part of the information that we have. And you're part of our story as we are a part of yours. It's very much an honor to be able to connect with each other. If you want to know more, or you want to get started with working with me or working with our warriors so that you can begin your path to authenticity, strength, leadership, and accountability, this is the way. Together, we are way stronger. Now you get to choose. Do you go forward or keep doing what you've always done? If you stay where you're at, hey, click on some of the stuff and follow what it is. We got motivational stuff. We've got podcasts. We've got more things. Just subscribe and do the stuff, and we'll keep you updated. But if you want to start going in, start jumping into what our programs offer and start your journey and being the hero in your own story.
Yeah, not to discourage, I still read books. It's not a requirement you need to read this book to be here. We'll go through principles, though. So, no, it's one of those things. I just wanted to get that one out of the way, because I know people get concerned, like, are we going to be trying to convert anybody? Where you are is where you are. I do want you to work on your energy side, or your heart side, or your spirit side, or your strengths in your mind or your body side. But start with your strongest side and work your way through. Druss, you don't identify in any direction. I'd like to hear your point of view.
Yeah, I was going to jump in on that one. As a testament to that, I'm kind of Rick's number 2, so head coach here at the program. And I'm an everything kind of guy. Like, whatever religion, whatever faith it is, if it makes sense to me, brilliant. Awesome. I lean more towards energy and what you would call new age, or people are calling it secular spirituality now, which is where all of the lines kind of meet. And I like to see the connections between different faiths and go, oh shit, no, all of them are trying to say the same thing, just in different ways. So there is something here. I don't know what it is. Like Phil likes to say, I think he stole it from some comedian, though, is that we're all just ants on a telephone pole trying to work out what the hell a telephone pole is. And that's okay. I don't lean any which way. It's just, oh shit, that makes sense to me.
That's one thing that's cool. I'm going to throw it out there. Just another benefit to the Warriors Way, if you're part of the Brotherhood, is we have small groups that break out We also started up on Thursday night. Right now is the Transformers group. There are guys, there's 3 guys in there who are, very well versed in Bible and Christianity and their beliefs, but also it's not a Christian group though. And this is where guys who are not Christians can go in and share their point of view, and they still can pray with each other and whatever it is their thing is, and be able to like build their heart and spirit side up in a healthy way without judgment and shame or arguments. And this is one thing too. Here's another thing, guys, just anybody. How many times, and I can't think of any, so maybe I wasn't there for them, but how often do we get into just drag out political arguments?
I haven't seen a single one.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a long time. Yeah.
Rick, to be fair, let's call it what it is. There is no real fights here, at all. It's
all discussions.
Yeah, everybody can sit there because we throw. It's known right off the rip. There's no blame. There's no shame, no judgment, and everybody honors that here. Everybody. So if your political view is left, right, middle, up, down, nobody gives a shit. It's, hey, are you here to grow? Are you here to make yourself better and help everybody else get better? Yes? Fucking come on in, bro. That's what it is. There's no heated anything. It's just helping dudes out.
Yeah. Life is brutal enough without us having to polarize each other and say, you're right, you're wrong, I'm better, you're worse, over stuff we don't know everything about. Now, how about we work on our stuff? Because this fight's hard enough as it is without having to just fight over rumors. So you're right, guys. We've been doing this for years, and I can't remember any drag out political arguments. I don't think we do it here. So what kind of groups can guys get into religious talks and politics talks and nobody's fighting? And this isn't a right group or a left group. This is an everybody group. They're not picking a side. So just a testament to what's the strength of the type of alphas that we have in here. And so I do want to also put a testament here. Every single guy you're listening to here is an alpha. This isn't just, Rick's group and then all the beta men. Like every guy here is a pack leader. Each guy here is a leader, and we teach and we develop other pack leaders. We're not training so that it's just Rick's group. It's not Rick's groups. Each guy here has strengths I don't have. We are all leaders. And so everybody here has kids or a wife or a family, or they've got their business, or they've got people they work with. Everybody here is a pack leader, and we collaborate the leadership together and then be able to grow. And this is where it doesn't matter what the other stuff in here is. Politics, the news, religion. We're all just trying to be the best we can for our family. And that's like a universal for every man who comes in here, is we're all just trying to be best for our people, trying to be best in every category we can. And we get our asses kicked enough, we don't have to do it to each other. In fact, it's been so much stronger working together. Now, one thing, now that Perry's back at home, I want to throw testament. What about all right, we got heart sides, they're talking spirit sides. And I know we do mindset because we've got so many tools that we get into the mind part. But what if I'm going through my body stuff and I'm working on a dysmorphia, or I hate myself in the mirror, I look fucking terrible. Well, one of the guys that we have in here right now is Perry, and he's in the top 30 right now, strongest men in the world. But I'm sure that's going to jump up by the time people are watching this video. But Perry's going to be the head coach for our fitness side. Now, I don't care if you've never worked out ever, or it's been like a decade, or if you're going for an Olympic style. I don't care what it is. Perry, you want to introduce yourself and then tell them a little bit more, because this is also in the program with what we shared already. But tell them about man, this is my experience with working with the Warriors Way and how you're looking to serve the guys.
Yeah, I can do that. We're working this whole physical side into it just because I do feel like a strong mind, a strong body do go together. I think that's something that me and Rick agree on. At the same time, it's also a way to try to yourself physically, but also a way to burn out some of those frustrations too. Am I cutting out? You're fuzzy on me, Rick. Did I cut out on you?
It's a little bit.
Yeah. See you, Barry.
Round number
Later,
2.
Barry. Later, Barry. we're
We'll be
so
back.
live it hurts, guys. All right, so Perry will be back, but we have developed a physical side, and when he jumps back in, he'll explain it. But you can actually jump in and coach with Perry. You can hire Perry as your personal coach, and he'll actually work with you on building out whether it be the mindset side of diets and nutrition and things like this, or being able to jump in and go as heavy or as hard or work on your form and strength train if that's what's necessary too. So like it's pretty hardcore. So Perry, now that you're back, let's try this again and hope that your internet holds out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. That's one thing you'll find in the Warriors way is I'm notorious for internet problems. So at least we're keeping it 100% real with you guys right now. Though I will cut out whenever we're talking, unfortunately, sometimes. But anyway, the whole reason we're doing this is just to try to give guys an outlet too, and a way to learn about how to get stronger. It's a man thing, right? We want to be strong. We want to see who can pick up the heaviest rock, right? And that's something I specialize in. On the static monster side, I'm the number 27 strongest man as of 2022. And so I mean, if you want to get strong, I can help with that. You want to try to burn some frustrations, I can help with that. I can give you workout programs. I can give you one-on-one. I can teach you how to do the movements if you've never done it before. There's a guy in Warriors Way right now that had never been in the gym, and we've started from ground zero and worked our way up. And I mean, his confidence level alone, just from being in the gym for 3 months, has skyrocketed. So there's benefits to being physically fit and strong, and your mental well-being as well. So it all goes hand in hand, and I feel like adding this in is a good way for me to give back too, because the Warriors Way has done so much for me that I'm not the same person I was a year ago. Warriors Way legitimately saved my life. I was riddled with anxiety. I was controlled by fear. I had zero self-worth. I had zero self-confidence, and I'm walking around as one of the strongest guys on the planet, and I had no confidence in myself whatsoever. And so we went in the Warriors Way, and we slayed those dragons and killed those demons, and now my confidence has skyrocketed. So I walk into somewhere, I have every intention of being the best there. Before, I didn't think I belonged. So it's been life-changing for me. So this is my way of giving back. This is what I know, and I look forward to try to give back to the men that come through.
Hell yeah, dude. You've killed some tough things, man. Hell yeah. It's been pretty awesome watching you develop, all you guys develop. All right. So what else am I missing here, guys? So far, we've got all of these pieces, no judgments, not a religious group, pull each other out of hell, slayed some dragons, killed some tough things, doubt, fear, depression, anxiety. What else have we got here? Give me something that's like, man, this was really important, Rick. Don't forget.
I think kind of going back to the very first question that you asked was, what our favorite thing about this was. I think for me, it's variety. Even when you look at us coaches, not all of us have the same way going about an issue. We don't have the same mindset. We don't have the same strengths. Every one of us has something different at what we excel in. So it's not like one of those scenarios where you reach out to somebody and you're going to get the same, canned answer response for any problem. It's going to be different for whoever it is that you reach out to, depending on their strengths. And the best part about that is you're able to pick who you need to reach out to based off of those strengths. Sometimes it's going to be more valuable that way. Sometimes you want somebody that isn't so strong in that point, because then you get that outside perspective. When you're digging on it so much and it keeps circling through your head, they're going to look at you and go, what are you even doing that for? Did you forgot about this part here? It's kind of like trying to figure out why a headlight on your car isn't working and you forget to check the fuse, because that's the one thing that it always is. You're there for 3 hours and then you realize, oh, it's a 5-cent fuse. Sometimes that outside perspective gives you that 5-cent fuse to change.
That's testament too, because like we see the different warrior types, and in here we've got each warrior type too: mind side, heart side, spirit side, body side, and triple down on your strong side while you're working on your other ones. And so this is what's cool is like you'll see which coaches are which, so you can lean into a coach that like that's my style and that's the one that I match with. and like testament to each of us, like, strengthening each other. Like, I can even remember I've actually hired Perry as my coach, and he redid all of my form for my workout. But I also have called up. And so here's one thing I want to put out there. What about, like, man, like, that's cool that you guys are this far ahead, but like, do we ever get to the point where, like, you just have to do it alone? Like, now that I'm trained, now I went through the program, now I just got to do it all by myself, right? Is that it? What about even for me? Have any of you guys ever been there for me? Have I ever got my ass kicked? Yeah.
Of course.
And then I call you guys up because I gotta see it from different points of view. And then have I ever been there for any of you guys?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Each guy.
I'll tell you what, it happened a couple weeks ago. I was going through some stuff, and I reached out, and 10 minutes later, Rick himself was on my phone. He called me. Hey, brother, what's going on? Ryan's done it for me too. There is no alone, no matter how far you get. You are constantly, you're only as alone as you allow yourself to be. All you got to do is let the boys know I need you, and your phone will blow up. So there is no alone.
Yeah. How about this? Let's throw it out there. What does it mean for answering the call? What is that thing? Anybody want to tell me? Like, Forge, what's answering the call?
Yeah, answering the call was created for the real oh shit. Like, I'm in the muck. Like, I'm falling down a hill, and I can't stop. You're getting to the bottom of the barrel. You have the thoughts of maybe like, hey, this is it. Like, I'm done. Like, you're giving up. You can reach out on our chat, answering the call, and I'm telling you, I've seen it probably every single time. Within seconds to minutes, you have 5, 10, 15 people responding back saying, hey, you good? What do you need? How can I help you? Just trying to get you on there and talking and finding out what the deep core problems are, so we can lock shields together and get you out of there. 99% of the time, I think it goes from like answering the call, everybody responds, we throw up a link for a Zoom, and everybody gets in there to help that one person out of their own hell. And we do, and it's been great. It's unbelievable how quick it is, and how many people show up for one. It's awesome.
And not to mention, back to what we were saying earlier, nobody shows up in those calls with any blame, shame, judgment portrayed on whoever puts that link up there in the first place. There's none of that. It's truly about, one of my brothers is going through some shit. He needs some help. How can I help? It's never anything about putting somebody else down or making them feel stupid because what they ask or the problem that they have might be, a small time problem to us, but a big time thing to them. There's never any thought of that by anybody that jumps into that call.
Such good points. You guys are super right too, man. We've pulled some guys out of nightmares. So all they have to do then is they just have to give a quick synopsis and write out all of their thoughts and put all their problems in there. So that way, is that what they have to do for people to know they're going through it? What do they have to do? What's the way?
Oh, for answering the call, all you got to do is, we have this cool little picture of, I believe it's a Viking on one of the horns calling for backup. Like, hey, yo, I need some help. Let's go. Everybody gets on their horse and rides there, man. We look down that hole, and when you're down at the bottom of the hole and you're looking up after answering the call, you don't see darkness anymore. You see 100 hands reaching down to pull your ass out, and we will show you the way. All of us have been down there at one point in time or another, and when we looked up, answering the call was there. There was 100 hands ready to pull us up. You only got to grab one.
Yeah, dude. You just got to put the image up. You don't have to do any explanation. Now, is there a time window here? Like, only between 9 to 5, or what's the time frame that people can put the image up that they're struggling? What do you think the time frame is?
No, with me here, we're worldwide. We're 24/7. We got every time zone covered.
Yeah, we haven't had it yet. I've done 3 a.m. phone calls. You guys have all been up in the middle of the night for somebody. Like, it doesn't matter what time it is. If you wake up in the middle of the night and the nightmares are ripping you apart, you throw the image up, somebody shows up, no matter what. And this is something that's really important because we don't leave our guys hanging. This isn't something where, well, your appointment isn't until Thursday, so we'll talk in 6 days. No, it can be 3:30 in the morning and you're going through hell. We'll come and get you. And this is something very different. When we're talking support, what's the Warrior's Way and what is the Brotherhood? There's no support like it. Daily morning calls. We have multiple nighttime hangout calls, 24/7 if hell's ripping you apart. It doesn't matter what it is. We've got all this training, all the support, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, whatever you're in, we've got a warrior that locks in with you. Pretty badass stuff, guys. What am I missing? Is there anything else I'm missing? What do we got, guys?
The guys help me with accountability. I'm not gonna lie. It's one thing the guys help out. If you're struggling with something, they'll still call you and be on your ass and check in on you in a loving way, but be on your ass nonetheless. So that helps out a lot. It's part of the brotherhood thing.
Hell yeah, accountability. Yeah, we do.
That's what brothers do. We're on your ass, especially when you know better.
Especially when you have a dream or you got a goal or you have a purpose. Each guy is like, hey, man, you stay on your purpose. How can I support you?
Yeah, I truly think that, just kind of writing down all this stuff about everything that's taken place over the past year and a half that I've been in here now, the one thing that kind of stuck out that I was writing down was, being able to find a brotherhood that truly cares about each other and actively strives to stay in touch and check up on everyone. The relationships obtained through here are truly one of a kind and exactly what I needed to better myself at that time. And there's no doubt in my mind that regardless of whatever takes place in the future, all of the people that are in this group with me right now will be with me till the end.
Oh, yeah, we do. Man, we've been there too. Like anytime, you're right, man. Like I do watch when people are going through it and I'll check in and like, how often is it like, yeah, you're the fifth guy today to check in on me? Or like, oh yeah, my phone's been blowing up. The guys are all making sure I'm all right. Like we all take turns. And so that's why it's very cool here is like, if you need accountability or if you just need support or you need to know you're important or you belong, the wolves all eat better when we hunt together. And so it's tough because the world's telling us we have to be lone wolves and man up and don't be a bitch and solve your own problems. But we're a pack animal, we're a social creature. And so when we hunt together, we can accomplish insane amount of things. But the guys who are alone get picked off. So this is why you see us tackling the hard stuff for transforming guys by creating that unity, because the guys who are out there who are ending themselves or censoring themselves, or being just abused, abandoned, treated like shit. Nobody cares about them. They're getting picked off because they're alone. Now, does this mean everyone's got to do the brotherhood? Only if you want to have massive success very quickly. And this is something I want to put out there too. Our resources that we have also fall into legal, also fall into financial, also fall into like multiple aspects of the connections that we have with the Warriors Way. Anything from weight loss to save your relationship. We've got the connections. We've got the people if you need to talk to somebody. And, whether it's the big ones, let's talk about starting over or going through loss. Like, so some of you guys, we've been here with each other. I've had heavy losses with some of you guys. Some of you have been here for deaths in my life, and I've had to go through things. And some of you have gone through anything from divorce to starting from square one to going through the middle of the battle, or, physical health issues, or you name it. What's it been like support-wise when the shit hits the fan? What's that look like, guys? Anybody want to share, like, I got fucked up and somebody came and got me stories?
I'll jump in here on this one. There was a scenario, I won't get into the whole thing, but there was a scenario I was pretty much at my lowest. And you want to talk about guys that support you. You got Phil right here in this call right here. That guy drove 6 hours, 7 hours just to come be with me, kind of thing. And then when things didn't go right, I was sitting in a hallway in a chair crying. And that dude walks up and he just puts his hand on my shoulder, lets me know that he's there. I wasn't alone. He was there, and he was there for the rest of the night when I needed him. You know, we'll talk about guys that'll show up for you. Those guys are here. Still one of them, Ryan being one of them. You know, they will be there whenever you need them. All you got to do is just let them be. You know, I'll never forget that grown ass man sitting in the hallway crying, and you got Phil walking up, just like, you know, it's gonna be okay. You know, it was awesome.
It's a good one. What do you got, Nick?
I was smiling at the great and powerful Dr. Phil. What a big old teddy bear. And every time Perry tells that story, I get all choked up. But I mean, these guys have pulled me out of countless spots. It's the closest fraternity or brotherhood that I ever had since I've been in the military. I went through a pretty awful divorce and was at, absolute moments of weakness. And I can tell you for a fact, if it wasn't Phil or Rick or Chris Miller or Ryan texting me at least once or twice every other day, you know what I mean? Like, it just like, hey, you good? Like, what's up? You've been quiet for a couple hours. Like, what's up? You know, and it's mind-boggling the dedication that these men have to one another and that we all have to one another. And you could be going through the depths of hell and there's somebody that's willing to be like, hey, room for one more? Let me come on down there, you know? So.
Oh yeah, dude. That divorce was rough too, man. You were going through it. And I watched you doing the battle, that's for sure. We've seen each guy here. These guys are super modest, but we've gone through everything from save my relationship to the loss of a relationship. You name it, we've been there for each other on this one. Here's one thing I want to point out. How much have we been trying to talk about and sell the program? Like, the stuff that we train is badass, best practices, stuff that works. But notice the part that makes it so you transform is together. It's your brothers. Each guy here is going, it's not like the tools are badass, but your tools only work as well as the crew you're building with. You know, could you build a house on your own? Yeah. Can you YouTube University and build your own house? Yes, you could. How long does it take? Well, it's probably going to take you like 20, 30 years. So you could do it. You can do it in 20, 30 years. But if you got yourself a badass crew and everybody knows how to do their tools, and you got your masonry, you got your carpenters, you got your plumbers, electricians, you got each guy who knows his thing. How long does it take when you got a badass crew having your back to build your house? Well, it probably takes like months or even 1 year. So could you do it in 20, 30 years? Of course. Yeah, do it on your own. Go for it. You could do it 20, 30 years. Or in less than 1 year, you can have yourself 10 times or 20 times more results. This is what the Brotherhood is. Are the tools and are the stuff good? Yeah, challenge them. You should test them out. But is it way better when you have a whole crew working on stuff together? Us guys are meant to be together. If anybody's telling you otherwise, we're way better together. Let's point out one of the things that's been a really, really big game changer. What does it look like for something that most men aren't getting today? And I want to point out like the empathy aspect of things, the actual care, like not like, hey man, you got a sandwich today? But like, hey bro, like, how's your healing going? Like, us men are able to have empathy for men in a world where it doesn't seem like there's a lot of empathy for men. This is why suicide rates is close to 1 guy per minute right now. We're in a world where people don't give a shit about your humanity. What do you guys have to say about us treating each other like humans here?
And whenever I first started, I should say, with all this, I kind of came into it, even throughout just the training of the program before even getting to the phalanx or to any of the fellowships or anything. And, I'd be sitting there on the video call going, man, I kind of hope I don't get called on tonight. I really don't want to talk about anything, like I'm like the kid that's hiding in the back of the class, just don't pick me. Well, eventually you still get picked anyway. So you still got to go ahead and talk. And at first it's kind of rough. You don't really want to do it. You don't really know. You're just so ingrained with everything society's taught you up to this point. You can't share this kind of stuff. You're supposed to be a man, take it on yourself, all this kind of shit. And that's all bullshit. You get to the point after doing it for so long, especially once you start seeing exactly how much all these guys really care about you and your well-being and how you're growing. You get to the point to where they're having to, like with Phil, we got to mute him all the time because he just won't shut up sometimes. But you get to a point where, man, you don't have any problem sharing anything with any of these guys whatsoever, because you truly know that they've got your best interest at heart, and you start sharing way more with this group than anybody else, because they truly do care about that, and being able to get that empathy from another group of guys like this, I mean, it's an absolute game changer. It changes your whole perspective, not just in this group, but I mean, just in life in general.
Yeah, I'll add to that one. Like, it's cool. I've sat in like a bunch of groups, helped coach a bunch of groups now, and it's pretty gnarly when you see some of these guys that come in and they're, they got their armor on, like full top to bottom, like you can't even see who's in their armor, and they sit back and they listen to a couple guys share, and then they start realizing, like, wow, like these people, like, they're not judging, and they're caring, and they're helping. Like, then you just see like little pieces of armor come up and they just hang it up on the wall, and they might like let something out and they're like, oh, you got more empathy. Let me take another piece up, put it up here. And then next thing you know, like their whole suit of armor is up on there, and they're just able to spill their beans, and everybody's just like, got you, bro. It's just a remarkable seeing somebody going from that high of a level of armor to nothing because of how they're treated here. It's awesome. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's very cool. Also, you help people rewire their armor to make it so it's appropriate for what you're going through. Because you do see people come in, like that kid in the Christmas story who like, can't move in a snowsuit. Like you see him in like 3 whole suits of armor and he can't move at all. And we're like, you need Iron Man nanotech armor, man. That's the wrong armor. That doesn't work. Dross, what's your experience been from like helping some of these guys connect with like that? Like, I don't want to call it the soft side, because heart side is not soft. It's not weak. We don't go into like spirit hugs and, like, hey man, open up your seabird side and let your tears fly. Like, no, we still warrior shit this thing out, but let's go ahead and talk. Like, heart side, it's not weak. It's fucking, if it was weak, you'd be able to do it easier. It's not weak. So tell us about like, what is your experience with some of these guys when you're going through, like, what would in other groups be very weak and how we make it not weak?
I don't know, Rick. I want to see your spirit bird fly. Just let it go.
You want me to let it fly?
No, yeah, I was going to jump in on this one. I didn't want to interrupt anyone though. A lot of the times outside of this group, you'll run into people and you'll be trying to help them, trying to give them advice. Now I'm a big heart side. So I see through people's shit and I go, man, I feel you. I see what's going on in there. I fucking feel the entire system behind this. And what I get time and time again with people that I meet is men that I've met, I've never really talked about my emotions much. Never really had the chance, never gotten to. And they get stuffed down. And people wonder why they volcano. It's because they bottle all of that fucking emotion in. And suppression leads to expression. If you're going to suppress something, it is going to come out at some point. And here is a place that we can do that, just like Ryan talked about with the armor. We can hang the armor up. It's really funny. We think about vulnerability as weakness. Vulnerability isn't weakness. Vulnerability is strength. It's just that we've been vulnerable with the wrong people. That's when vulnerability is weakness. Because we're vulnerable with people who hurt us. Vulnerable with people who stab us in the back. But if we're vulnerable with people who actually care, you can move mountains.
Well said.
Anyway, what was your original question? Sorry, Rick.
I think that's a good point. Like that vulnerability on the hard side. I've seen it too. I'm right there with you, where people go like, man, that's some pussy shit. That's some weak shit. I don't want to share it for everybody. Why is everybody talking about their fucking feelings and shit like that? Well, you're allowed to be human here, man. We don't judge you for that. You're allowed to be human somewhere. And that's probably one of the crazier things is when they work with someone like you, where they're like, wait a second, like you're asking questions to get to some human part of me that I never used before, or I pushed down since I was 9 years old. people have rejected me for being a crybaby, or I'm too happy, or I'm too much, or been judged and shamed all the way down to I don't do anything. Or, our military guys, how much has your humanity had to been shoved down so you can be what you were needed for the military? And so here you go, hold on, we got to turn your humanity back on, but we got to build these parts back up. Is that weakness? Is it weakness to turn your humanity on, especially if you want love in your life, connection with your kids or your pack? To be a good leader, is it good to be able to have that empathy or connection or vulnerability with the people who are mattering the most? Is that weakness? Be hard to say yeah to that, simply because how are you supposed to be a good leader if you're not able to care about the people in your groups, your pack, your kids, your wife, your girlfriend, your family, your parents, your brothers, your sisters? How are you supposed to be a leader for your business or for your crew or your management team or whatever your life is where you're the leader of anything? If you can't connect to your humanity when people are going through shit and you call yourself a leader, I'll call people out too. If you can't let that part show because you're too tough, it's because you're too scared. Your fear doesn't make you tough. So let's go into some of the stuff. Let's go in. Guys, we've got all these pieces here. There's a lot of camaraderie, a lot of love, a lot of brotherhood, but we do have tools. What are some of your favorite course lessons to say, like, that one was big for me? And like, pick one that's like, you know what? There's some tools in here that's fucking badass. And when we trained this together, it changed everything. Give me some of your favorites. What's some of your ones that was a big one for me?
Oh man, that one's easy. Know yourself and awareness. Those are the two biggest ones for me that after opening those up, I mean, it changed everything.
Oh, I got right then fight. That one saved me. It took me a while to accept it. Not gonna lie, learned the hard way. But that one still to this day, every day helps. Oh my god.
My favorite one was actually one that you made me read ahead on, which isn't in the program, in the writing, but we do still teach it, and it's computer error, which gets a little bit philosophical, a little bit wordy. The basic way of saying it is everyone's perspective is subjective. So everyone has different training and views the world differently. Now, the person that you're taking their beliefs, so the things that form your identity into your system, do they have what you want? And if they don't have what you want, why the fuck are you listening to them? If someone's telling you you're too much, you're too stupid, you're too whatever, they're shooting or tooing all over you, and you're taking that in, why? And that's not, do they have the perfect life that you have, but are they happy? Do you want to be happy? Do they have a good relationship? Do you want to have a good relationship with your partner? If they don't, then probably don't listen to them. That doesn't need to be part of your system anymore. You don't need to be what people tell you. You get to be who you are. Yeah, that one was definitely my favorite. Still is to this day, even after training so many groups.
People's belief systems corrupt your data, and you got a corrupted hard drive now trying to run your computer because people have put their computer curses on you. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
They virused you.
That reminded me of the second one that touched on the first one, was challenge everything. Where the right then fight then turned into challenge everything. That was one I picked up here too. Even if it's new information and something else, like, let's see if it holds up. Makes a big difference in your choices after that.
I like I think the Epictetus compass. That one fucking resonates with me so much. Your circumstances do not define you; they reveal you to yourself. And I'm telling you, man, like looking back on like how I used to be and like my reactions to everything, like when I was getting angry all the time, was like, that's how people saw me. Like that's what I was. And it's not that case anymore. It's like, but that one there is like, holy shit, man. I was reacting to all this, like this tiny stuff that didn't even matter. And that's how people saw me. People were walking on eggshells around me because of that. That one really hit home. So that being able to see yourself for what you are, and then seeing like, oh wow, I got to change that. That I think that's one of the biggest things for me.
Hell yeah, I love that Epictetus compass. It's a good one. Who else has got another one? One that's like, man, that one was a big one for me.
Training on fear for me was the big one for me. I spent my days making up fake scenarios that I was afraid of happening, and it was bleeding into my real life, and none of this happened. You know, it was all made up in my head, and I was afraid of fake realities that I was creating. You know, fear isn't real. When you said that, like there was so many walls that came crumbling down when you said those words to me. Fear is real. I was like, holy fuck, dude's right. It's all fake. It's all made up. It's all in my head, and I'm allowing myself to make myself miserable with my own made up bullshit. You know, so that one was the one that pretty well changed my whole trajectory.
Yeah, fear, anxiety, all beatable if you know how to beat them. I'll tell you one for myself. I'm still really proud of the doubt one. Doubt had me so fucked. Like 20 years, doubt had me down. You're not good enough. It's a bad idea. Nobody's going to care about your things. No one's ever cared before. Everyone's always left you. Why wouldn't they leave now? Like they ask rhetorical or unanswered questions. Like doubt had me down hard, and now he's beaten in one sentence. We've got some pretty badass training in here, and it's pretty cool to be able to see all these different pieces that we put together to know thyself, know thy enemy, and know how to battle. And then we go through it together. Pretty awesome stuff. Pretty awesome stuff. Anybody got any closing thoughts before we bounce out of here? Anybody got something they want to share before they bounce out?
I got one. I just want everybody to know, like, this is huge growth for yourself, but it's a trickle down effect. It truly is. Like once you start learning yourself and getting back to your authentic you, it goes into your family, it goes into your, relationships outside of the program. It truly makes life better. I have a better relationship with my wife, my kids. I've changed my fucking kids' like outcome. Like he was turning into what I was, the angry guy. He's no longer doing that now. He's calmed way down. That's a generational curse that's no longer going to be in my family because of this place. That's amazing. You get better, your family gets better, your life gets better in general. It's pretty cool, guys.
Dude, you broke a generational curse. And I know each guy in here has broken a generational curse. We were all sitting on a path that was given to us by somebody else, and we changed our stars. Every guy in here has beaten a generational curse. Each guy had anger or depression or anxiety or sadness or like unworthiness. Each guy in here has had to fight one of these things and having no purpose, no reason, no belonging, no pack. Each guy here now is going to be passing on this information to their kids, who will pass it to their kids, and they will be breaking curses for years to come. You'll change your entire pack's stars. You'll change everything. Such an honor. Such a big deal. This is the Brotherhood, and this is the way. You guys want to show everybody, what does it look like when we salute each other in the Brotherhood? Yeah, fist over the heart. What that means is not only do I hold you close as my brother, but I also shield you from the bullshit of this world. Together, we're stronger. So these are the coaches. These are the guys you're going to be working with, and each one of these guys has gone into the fray to pull a guys out, and they'll do the same for you. So this is why the Brotherhood. This is why we do what we do. And so if you're looking for your pack, your purpose, your way to be the most authentic, strongest alpha that you can possibly be, these are the guys who will help you do it. This is the way. Good job, brothers.
Click on the button and you can become the hero in your own story. It's time to start making the choices to change. And the evolution that you're going to do begins with choosing the next step. This is the way. And together, we're always stronger.